is tell white supremacists that they're wrong about us. I'm trying to tell you that you're wrong about you. That what they're saying is wrong about you. The same way white people need to tell white supremacists that they're wrong. I'm telling you that you're wrong.
Yeah, it's about that time, you already know. Turn the speakers up, man, it's time to stop the show. John Tanner, Ryan Righteous, DJ Jeremiah. We bringing the heat, man, this joint be fire like, bruh. We in the field, we in the field, bruh. We in the field, we in the field. Just put it in work, we raising the bar. You tuned in to the Trackstarz.
With the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Was good.
All right, this segment is sponsored by the Outsiders Brands presents Faith Without Walls Volume 1 is here. Just dropped this week. Make sure you go check it out. It's featuring artists like Dayton, 1K Few, 1K Tino, 1K P-Son, Reconcile, you name it. It's got some great artists on there. So go check it out. Let us know what you think, all right?
All right, so we got a little callie call during that little break, and we were told not to talk about what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to switch to another topic. All right. So what do you guys think about the Braves? Should they be changing their name as well? Like the Redskins did.
Yeah. Very happy to talk about this topic.
No, I'm just joking. So we're going to be talking about Nick Cannon today, and what he said on his podcast, on his YouTube channel, Cannon's Class. All right, so let me try this. Y'all can hear us now? We good?
Yeah, they said good. Everything's on the way.
Good. So let's try this again, guys. We're going to play this. It's going to get out today. All right, here we go.
There's a list of Semitic people, and anyone can do this right now. You can look up who are the Semitic people, what are the Semitic languages.
Right.
Has absolutely nothing to do with any white people.
Right.
Not at all. So in order for me to be anti-Semitic, I'd have to be anti-black man, anti-black woman, anti-black people, anti-Africa, anti-all of the people.
Because the Semitic people
are black people.
Because this is where it truly is, and when we talk about those the six corporations, when we go as deep as the Rothschilds, centralized banking, those the 13 families, the bloodlines that control everything even outside of America. When we talk about the people who, if we were truly the children of Israel, and we're defining who the Jewish people are, because I feel like if we actually can understand that construct, then we can see that there is no hate involved. When we talk about the lies, the deceit, how the fake dollar controls all of this, then maybe we can get to the reason why they wanted to silence you, why they wanted to silence Minister Farrakhan, and they want to throw that we are having hate speech when it's never hate speech, when it's not. Right. You can't be anti-Semitic when the Semitic, when we are the Semitic people, when we are the same people that who they want to be. That's our birthright.
That's our birthright.
All right, so that's one of the things that Nick said on his show. They got some heat. He was called anti-Semitic. He was dropped by Viacom, which means wilding out. A couple other things he does there. Some of his other shows that he was supposed to start a new talk show that got pushed back. What do you think about what he said about anti-Semitism and the Jews in that clip?
Rick.
No, my brother.
We have a very special guest on the call. We have Dr. Rick.
No.
Dr. Rick, you're an expert at this conversation and this topic. You, along with Professor Griff, are a professor. Tell us about that, sir.
You, along with Professor Griff, are a professor. I specialize in biology. Not
this is right down your alley.
Not canonology.
Tell us about the biology of the black man, please.
Nah, my brother. You know what? In all graciousness and humility, I'll pass this on to DJ Jeremiah.
Y'all nervous?
Well, okay. The antithesis of the participation of the annihilus of the analytics of the independence of the emasculation of the black man from the Caucasians of. I'm joking. Somebody start this.
Yeah, stop you. Okay, so seriously, when I first heard this clip, I was thinking, you cannot generalize people. We always say this when it comes down to race, when it comes down to religion. You can't generalize people and say that everybody who believes this, everybody who looks this way is this way, right? That's the biggest problem that we have. And so I think he generalized a lot of things, saying that, well, all white people were like this at one point, and then they're that, and then they're closest to animals. And it was just like, I just don't get why we even have that conversation when there's still so much that we are all figuring out about life. And just, to me, to generalize and to speculate that people would be a certain way because of their because of where they came from or where we came from, it all just seems ridiculous to me. The argument is ridiculous.
So a lot of people are worried that we're gonna get canceled during this. Are you guys actually worried about that? So first of all,
no. We've got 35 partners, but we might lose 2 or 3. So.
Well, here's the deal. I think you may be worried about the wrong people. Like, we may get canceled by everybody after this. This is not, at least what I'm gonna say. So
go for it.
Prepare for that.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
So,
Don Tanner show.
So I just want to say this. Okay. So based on what he said.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's get into what he said.
So based on what he said, I'll just start with this, and I'll explain why I believe this as I go, because I think I may upset a lot of people that don't realize that this may be happening to them. I believe that Louis Farrakhan is single-handedly destroying the black movement. I think that people really, really need to stop listening to that man. Stop inviting him to your churches. Stop inviting him to your funerals. Louis Farrakhan. Every time black people start making moves, here come Louis Farrakhan. I don't understand how he slides in, because I know how. Because when he gets invited to churches, he sounds like a Christian. He says stuff that Christians would say about Jesus, about the blood of the Lamb. He sounds like a Christian when he's at a church. But he's a wolf. Plain and simple. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Every time he gets involved with something, the Women's March, Million Man March, every time he gets involved with something, he discredits the whole movement. And I don't know if you guys understand what he really believes, because when he comes around people, he knows how to adapt to their belief systems and make you feel comfortable. He's done a lot for black people, and I think that masks his true intentions. And it's like the drug dealer handing out turkeys. Don't get fooled by him. Yes, he's done a lot of great stuff, but his ideas are dangerous. They're dangerous. So that's where I'm going to start, and I'm going to explain why I feel that way as we go. But I think Nick Cannon and Professor Griff are reflecting some of the ideas that Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, his successor, Farrakhan, believe. And they're really, really good at capturing the hearts of black people and black Christians specifically. They're targeting you to get you to fall away from what you really believe. And this is the result of it. It destroys our movements. What?
How did they okay, if you said, Farrakhan is easy at, it's good at targeting black people, and I can understand somewhat of it. How did they target us here? Like, if you listen to what Nick Cannon saying, how did he prick at my heart by the way he delivered what he delivered? Because
you're living in a country that was created by racist white people that believe some crazy things about black people, that they're property, that they're chattel, that they're no better than that. So when somebody comes along and tells you, no, they're wrong, you're not chattel, you're not a slave, you're not nothing, you're in fact better than them. You're a god. You're the original person. They stole that from you. It makes you feel like, whoa, how come they didn't tell me that? And then you suck up everything else he says because he makes you feel special. To me, that is the most dangerous thing you can sneak into your messages. It's completely ridiculous. And I'll get into why I believe this. But it's completely ridiculous to say those people are racist because they believe they're better than us. So I'm going to tell you that you're better than them.
Yeah, that's
the heck does that mean? That's ridiculous. If they're wrong, what makes you right when you say it?
Basically, it's hate being spewed back hate, right? So it's saying it's saying that we were enslaved, we were treated as dirt, as animals, but they're the white devils. They're the ones that you need to be afraid of. You shouldn't be afraid of them. They should be afraid of you, because you are the original people of God. You are the kings and the queens that came from a far off land. You are the ones that should be inheriting everything that the earth has to give. And so it almost makes it seem like, well, we're just taking hate from one side and pushing it to the other side. And that's very dangerous, because Christianity is about love for all people. And that's where, as Black Christians and Christians in general, if you listen to people who are spewing hate, then you get into the side of, oh, okay, this is who I am. I was watching a video the other day of some white men in a park. My wife shared this with me. White men in a park that were trying to lynch a Black man on a tree. And some other white bystanders came by and was like, let him go. What are you doing? Stop. And the way that this man's eyes were filled with hate when he was looking at the white woman, and he was calling her all kinds of names and saying, you are a victim, and you are one of those, and when you're one of them. And it was just like that hate. So we can't take that hate and how awful it is and put it back on them because we feel like we have found something out about ourselves, or someone's told us that we're supposed to be the superior being.
Here's some things I want to say real quick. I think the reason why Mr. Farrakhan is so popular is because a lot of the hip hop artists are like, love him. A lot of athletes, Black athletes, hip hop artists.
A lot of Christian hip hop artists love him.
And it's like, and I'm not even talking about just Christian, I'm talking about hip hop artists. Like mainstream hip hop artists are adopt to him a lot. You know what I'm saying? And they love him. They support him. They do everything that he asks for them to do because he's using your skin. And another thing about Minister Farrakhan that people don't know is he used to be a believer. He used to be a Christian, and then he turned to Islam because what was going on now, where it's his white brothers and sisters at the time during the civil rights movement back in the day was like, he felt like why y'all said y'all my brothers, but I don't see it. And then I guess he read The Message to the Black Man, which is a book that everybody is kind of talking about now, which is the book by Elijah Muhammad, where he give a message to the Black man and talks about what's going on in the streets and how Black men could be better and how we need to treat our Black queens, and the white man's the devil and XYZ. And if the Black man is not on the same page as you, he could be the devil as well. So I think those things is blossoming right now in the midst of chaos. So in the midst of chaos, it's almost like that snake tongue hitting people's ears right now because they're so angry and they're so upset. And the number one thing they start off with, like, if you're like, so what is your faith? You a Christian? Where the church at? Why is the church ain't out here? You don't see the church. The church is not involved in nothing, doing nothing, none of this. So then when somebody speaks behind that and say, but don't you also know you the original man? You were here first. You know what I mean? So that's the narrative that is switched quickly to seeing, well, my identity describes as Christianity, but I don't see my church out here. I don't see the church at large out here. So then it switched from that to my skin color. You the original man. That's why they hate you. You know what I'm saying?
So let me, if you don't understand what this is all about, this is the underlying problem underneath all of this. There is a group of Jews, the Ashkenazi Jews, that are what people consider white Jews, white passing Jews that live in America today, a lot of them. The people that we're discussing, Nick Cannon, all of these people, they do not believe that they're real Jews. They believe they're from this place called Khazars, which is modern day Russia. They believe they converted to Judaism and have adopted the Jewish inheritance and took Israel from the real Jews. The Jews, the Semitic people from Northern Africa, Western Asia, that area, right? What we call the Middle East now, right? They believe that the Ashkenazi Jews are pretenders, and they use Bible verses in Revelations to justify their belief that they're fake Jews and God is going to destroy them. That's what's hidden underneath all of this, that they believe that the Jews that we call Jews today, the people who have power, the ones that they believe are running banks and money and all that, they believe they're fake Jews. So everything you hear Louis Farrakhan say, everything you hear them say, it's because they believe that they're not the real Jews, that black people are the real Jews. So when Professor Griff starts off and says, we can't be anti-Semitic because we're the real Semitic people, there's truth in that. Because Africa, Northern Africa, the Arabic language and all the different languages that came from that area is what we mean when we call Semitic. The Semitic religions are Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. That's what Semitic is. So their belief that they're the true Semitic people and they're the Jews that we call Jews today are the fake Semitic people, they believe they can't be anti-Semitic because they don't believe they're Semitic in the first place. That's where all this comes from. So their belief, that belief, justifies their hate towards what they call the satanic Jews. That's what's underlying. I don't know if people will say that straight out, but that's what they believe, and that's what's driving this, what we call anti-Semitism now, is the disagreement on who the real Jews are. Does that make sense?
Here's my question. If you truly believe that, and if you're very keen on that, why apologize?
Why did Nick Cannon apologize?
Yeah. I mean, if you really believe that, if you really believe that what you're saying is not hurtful or harmful, and it shouldn't, right, really cause that much, it may cause pain because of the Enlightenment, right? If that's the case, then if you really believe that, why apologize?
A lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe he shouldn't have apologized. And Nick Cannon, I bet you he would say that he didn't do anything wrong, really. Because even throughout the whole talk, he said that there's no hate, it's all love, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, they'll say that, and I'll play another clip in a second, that white people are devils and that they will be destroyed by the sun and all kinds of other things I'll get into later. So there's a disconnect here, but the root of the problem is people like Louis Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad, their hatred of what they call the satanic Jews. So when Jews in America say they're being anti-Semitic, is because they believe that they are real Jews, but people like Louis Farrakhan does not believe they're real Jews. That's the real argument that we're hearing played out. So that's the conflict we're seeing. Now, that was one piece of the video. Second piece of the video is what he said about white people in general, which he is also assuming that the Ashkenazi Jews are just white people from Russia, right? So let me play that clip.
We're not saying anything hateful, and that's the thing when they want to put that on the minister Farrakhan was saying when he even the term white devils or just devils in general.
Right.
But when he was really speaking about the people who devalue our communities and themselves, and that's really where the word devil comes from, and how he's speaking it. But they want to take the sound bites and say, this is anti-Semitic. Let's go to what it really is then. When we talk about the power of melanated people, when we talk about who we really are as guys and understanding that our melanin is so powerful and it connects us in a way that the reason why they fear black, the reason why they fear is because the lack that they have of it. So then when you see what, Dr. Francis C. Welsing talked about is that fear in that
just genetic annihilation,
efficiency of when you have a person that has the lack of pigment, the lack of melanin, that they know that they will be annihilated. So therefore, however they got the power, they have the lack of compassion. That melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul. That we call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us. So the people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully, are a little less, and where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear. They're acting out of low self-esteem. They're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
Fight or
pillage
flight, okay.
in order to survive.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric. Because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough, torrential environments. So they're acting as animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages. And then they built up such this I don't want to say warrior, but they built up such this conquering barbaric mentality that they're coming out of Europe. They then said, in order for us to survive, we have to take what's not ours. And then they went into the land that actually where we are originated. And instead of trying to make friends, they said, we want what you got. Because there's this mentality of whether it's the Caesars or even that we have to conquer.
Right.
So I say all that to say the context. And when we speak of whether it's Jewish people, white people, Europeans, the Illuminati, they were doing that as survival tactics to stay on this planet.
Right, because
we never had to do that.
Right.
Sam, we soak up the sun. We get power from the sun.
We process it.
They die on the sun.
Exactly.
The sun kills them.
Exactly.
It empowers us.
Right. With a high form of alchemy, we turn that into, we can get melanated and mellow at night. But when we serious, we get in that sun, we get turned up and lit. You understand what I'm saying? Because we got the melanin to do that, man.
Right.
Yeah, and a pineal gland that allows us to astroplane and do all the things that we do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But they don't get that.
Right. Okay. So that's what he said. If you're wondering why he really got in trouble, it was because of what he said about white people, right there. Yeah. So did you hear what he said? What he believes, and a lot of people believe. This is not just Nick Cannon that believes this. There's a ton of people that believe that white people are less than human. The same way white people still believe that black people are less than human. There's black people who believe that white people are less than human, and there's some sort of melanin reason, like melanin has some sort of superpower to make you soak up sun and give you life and kill them, right? So that's the underlying belief that black people are the children of God and white people are not, I guess is what they're saying. So that's the underlying belief under all of this stuff. And please explain to me how that's any different than what white people believed about us.
How's
that any different?
Does he come out saying that they are less than human, or is he really
said they're closer to
animals? They're closer to animals.
That's what I'm saying. Is he saying they're less than human, or are they lesser humans?
Lesser.
They're barbaric. They're savages. They're closer to animals.
So if you don't know, a lot of this comes from these books, the ISIS papers, the 13th, I think it's called the 13th tribe or something like that, where people believe, and here's the hard part, because there are some truths in it, right? White people did enact racist violence on black people for centuries. Like there's documented, right? There's no doubt about that. But what they believe is that white people are afraid that they're losing who they are, which is true, and that they do what they do to black people to preserve their race, right? Which is also true. But then to make the jump to they're doing it because they know that we're really gods and we're really the powerful ones. That's they're trying to suppress, and they're stealing from our power, so that it's, if you actually go down the rabbit hole, it's crazy. But that's the underlying belief that is causing people like Nick and coming out of the mouth of people like Louis Farrakhan, mixed in with truths, right? Because it can't sound like a complete farce or nobody will buy it. It's mixed in with truth, and that's what's confusing black people who want to be championed. They want to be lifted up because they actually have been suppressed and have been treated badly. So when somebody says, you are actually the more powerful one, it feels great. It feels like, oh my gosh, they stole that from me. How could they, right? But it's mixed with a lie. You can't believe the lie part. And that's why I get so frustrated when I see him in churches, because he'll sound legit. He'll sound like a Christian. Because Jesus is in the Quran. So he feels no like contradiction with his religion when he talks about Jesus, because Jesus, Mary, all that is in the Quran. So he can use that and his knowledge of the Bible to spin a message for you that sounds perfect. And so many churches bring him in like he's just another preacher.
Yeah.
It's dangerous because he's mixing it with his real beliefs that black people are gods and white people are devils, that white people are going to be destroyed. And here's the deal. The guy that you love so much and the guy he loves so much, Elijah Muhammad, what they really, really believe is that there is extraterrestrial ship that is going to come down and destroy white people. They believe that a UFO called the mother wheel, the mother plane,
You could stop right there.
is going to come and destroy the oppressor, white people. That is what they really believe. At the end of every cult, I swear, at the end of every cult, if you follow it all the way back, Scientology, the Waco people, there's always doggone UFOs. That is what Elijah Muhammad actually believes in. And it's clouded with all this stuff to make it sound good. But at the end of the day, Louis Farrakhan believes a UFO is going to destroy white people. And and black people are actually gods, little g gods on this earth. And they come from another planet. You have to dig all the way to the end of it and see what the source of these people's beliefs are. It's ridiculous. And the fact that we keep listening to this man is ridiculous. I don't understand it. He's a great preacher, did a lot for black people, but it's ridiculous stuff that he believes. And it keeps ruining the movement every single time. I don't get it.
Well, here's the thing. I think the thing is, and it's so funny you talk about Scientology, because recently, I mean, if you watch the whole Rima, I forgot her name, but she does an expose on Scientology, and she talked about how the Nation of Islam and now Scientology has come together to do it, to come together to be like the powerhouse. Like Scientology is helping them with certain things and everything like that. And then when you talk about the alien part, that's what it seems. So when you said that, I was like, wow, it's connect straight with Scientology, because L. Ron Hubbard believed that too.
They all believe in UFOs, bro.
UFOs,
it's all UFOs,
and that's gonna be all that. But I just think, man,
even atheists follow the money on the atheists. They believe in UFOs as well. All these cults, all these crazy people, they all, if you actually listen to them, Richard Dawkins, Stephen Hawking, they all believe in it. All ends up in UFOs. All of it. All of it. Follow it all the way back. They all believe in UFOs. It's ridiculous. Stop listening to these people. They're crazy.
Yeah, I just think one of those things is people got to understand that where we are right now. You know what I mean? Especially believers, especially if you're a Christian black person, you got to understand where we are right now. And you got to understand where the devil is right now. The devil is right now telling people, you know, you got to get back to your original people. You got to get with your people. You got to do this. You got to do that. And also, to be honest with you, it's not just them. Honestly, it's other people too. There's other people, other YouTubers, other people on social media that spew this type of nonsense or spew this type of stuff. And it's really, if you're not strong enough, if you can understand, like, because sometimes some people can listen to somebody and be like, okay, but like you just said, Sean, like, that's true, but that's false. But if you're a person that's just naive, you're gonna just listen to that person because you're hungry for not just knowledge, but you're hungry for something which is identity at the end of the day. You're hungry for an identity, because we believe that Christ is our identity. And through Christ Jesus, you know what your true identity is. But for some other people, you try your identity in your sexuality, your race, your identity in what you have. So at the end of the day, majority of the time, people are looking for stuff, especially the young, especially the confused, what's going on. You like, man, this is a lot. I can't handle this. In my church, I go to a multi-racial church, and they're not doing nothing. So I'm listening to this guy on YouTube, and I'm listening to Farrakhan, and I'm listening to all these people, and it sounds great. And it sounds like it's going to push me forward. And it sounds like that's what needs to happen so we can progress as a people.
I think the climate of our country is pushing people in that direction too, right? I remember watching the Rodney King verdict, and the Rodney King verdict and the riots documentary on Netflix a couple of weeks ago, and you do get this, what are we going to do about this situation type attitude, right? And I think a lot of people are turning on the TV, and that's the attitude that they had at that moment when you see how they responded to the Rodney King verdict. Like, it was just wildfire. It was crazy, pulling people out of cars, beating them, robbing them. And it was like, you didn't even have to be a part of that. Like, you just go over to the Asian community and just start wreaking havoc on the Asian community. It was crazy. And I think that as we see George Floyd, as we see Rayshard Brooks, as we see Ahmaud, as we see Breonna Taylor, we see all these things happening, right? I work with somebody named Tiana Taylor. It's just in my head.
A singer.
That's a singer.
Yeah, I work with somebody like that. But what I'm saying is, we get to this place and people are looking to draw their anger somewhere, right? And get it from somewhere, or redirect it. And they're going to these influencers, these pro-Black, people, and they're hearing the anger and the frustration, and they're hearing the hate that's being spewed, and they're gravitating to it because they're like, well, they're going to do something about it. So let me go on this side of the fight because they're going to change things. And it's crazy.
Can I be honest with y'all, man? Like, I've been in this spot like this entire time. Not like here right now, but I mean during this whole situation where we've been seeing all the responses and the riots, I've been at times just feeling like, man, what can I do? Like, what is there something I can do? I really want to just take up arms and go do something.
Take up arms?
And yes, take up arms and go do something.
Go get
guns and go do something. Yes, because
why?
Because there's so much happening. There's people being hung from trees right now in 2020. Right. I wanted to do something about that. Like, I think about that kind of stuff. And then I see a guy come around, like the guy with the not messing around movement. Those guys, right? And I see them on Stone Mountain, and they have their guns, and they're walking. And as soon as I see the picture of that, I'm like, those are my people. I need to get my stuff and go, right? Because I'm like, yo, like, something needs to happen now. Right. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because there's some threat issued by the KKK. There's all kind of stuff happening. I'm like, yo, I need to go where those people are, where the people with the guns who are going to do something about the situation, because I'm sick and tired of whatever's happening. So I'm like, yo, I'm with this. Right. But then I take some time to listen to who the leader is. And I'm like, oh, this dude's on something different. And actually, I'm not with this dude. Like, I mean, I like, at first I'm like, yo, I see a bunch of black dudes with rifles. I'm like, yes, this is the movement. Let's go. Where are we headed? Right. And then, like, you hear him talk about, we want to give us Texas. Right. He said, look, we want our own space. We want our own place. You know what? We'll take Texas. And I'm like, my man, I live in Georgia. I don't want to move to Texas. Right. I don't. And I also don't want to be completely separated from all the people who are out there who I absolutely love. Right. I don't want my own separate spot. And then plus, I don't want all the black people in the world all the black people in the United States to be stuck in Texas. I don't think that's the move. You feel me? But either way, at the same time, like, I understand, hey, where there's hurt, and where there's consistent hurt, pain, anguish, and victimization, there are people looking for answers. Yeah. There are people looking for answers.
And people ready to give the wrong one.
And when you tell me, and I knew, I was like, yo, at some point, somebody's going to come around with an answer. And it'll be the wrong answer, and everybody will vibe with it, right? Because it seems like the logical choice. And in this case, he's like, hey, look, y'all have melanin. And melanin does have some real cool properties, Like it's true.
Protects you from the sun.
It protects you from the sun, right? And there's less incidence of skin cancer in people who have concentrated melanin.
But
that's
not
a true
none.
situation.
But not none.
Not yeah. Okay. What do you mean?
What are you talking? You don't know about my kinsman who shot the sheriff, Bob Marley,
I'm not,
died of skin cancer.
I'm not saying none. I'm not saying none. I said less incident, right? But okay, yeah, none, right? But what melanin doesn't give you is like compassion, right? Like that's not a property associated with melanin. But melanin has cool properties, but they try to associate other cool properties with melanin as well, right? And then saying, hey, look, your lack of melanin makes you like soulless, right? And I feel like some of that stuff I feel like that stuff is where we kind of get lost. And I know we're angry, and I know we're upset, and I know we're mad, and that makes us vulnerable, right? But in that vulnerability, we can't be fooled.
At the end of the day, no matter what anybody tells you, racism is not exclusively a white problem. They've just been more successful at it. But it doesn't mean that it can't be in your heart as well. Don't fall for that. If you were in power, if you assume that if you were in power this whole time that you wouldn't have done some of the same things they did, and that means you're racist. That means you feel that you are somehow genetically better than they were, right? It doesn't excuse what they've done, but to assume that you are somehow better than them is racist. I don't care what anybody tells you. And as a Christian, if you listen to Louis Farrakhan, you're being led astray. What the Bible says is that your race, your bloodline, that doesn't save you. God chose the people of Israel as his chosen people, not because there was something inherently special about them, but because he was going to be using them as an example. When they sinned, he punished them. When they repented, he blessed them. That was to be used as an example for all nations, not just for the Jews. Peter got punished for this. Peter got yelled at for this because he fell for the same trap that somehow Jews were the only ones that deserve salvation. It's not true. Jews were used as an example for all of the nations, that they can all become children of God, that they're all children of the promise. When Abraham was promised that nations and nations and nations will come from him and be blessed, it wasn't by blood, it was by faith. That's what the Bible says. So anybody who that's why they got mad at me last time we talked about this. And when I said, who cares, right? They were like, how could you not care if you're the real people? Because the Bible says it doesn't matter who the real people are. By blood, it matters who the real people are by faith. The children of Abraham, the children of the promise are by faith, not by blood. So who cares if black people are the true Jews or the Ashkenazi Jews are the true Jews or the Sephardic Jews are the true Jews? The true Jews, the true children of Abraham are children of faith. And he provided his son, the second Adam, to become a sacrifice so you can accept it and be adopted into the family, the promise. Anybody else who puts their pride in their bloodline is going to lose. You're going to lose out if you don't understand that it's not by blood, it's by faith. It's by his blood, not yours. So you have to reject anyone who tries to lace Christian principles with lies. Go all the way to the end of their beliefs. At the end of their beliefs is foolishness. And if you fall for it, you're going to be led astray and you're going to teach other people and lead them astray. So you have to reject all of that crap because it's dangerous. And yes, there are some truths to it, and there are reasons why Nick Cannon was canceled, so to speak, that have nothing to do with the Bible and have to do with racism and all kinds of things. So you could be mad about that if you want to, but as long as you understand what's really, really going on here, that if you are a Christian, you have to truly apply the Word of God to what we believe and what the Hebrew Israelites believe, what the 5%ers believe, what the Nation of Islam believes is not true. It's not even a little bit true, what they really believe. So if you fall for it, it's going to lead this whole thing. What we're trying to do is tell white supremacists that they're wrong about us. I'm trying to tell you that you're wrong about you. That what they're saying is wrong about you. The same way white people need to tell white supremacists that they're wrong. I'm telling you that you're wrong. That's what this is all about.
Preach, preacher. Pastor Grant.
Hey, are we not going to talk
theology class?
Are we not going to talk about the fact that Nick Cannon created this show and then lost it?
I don't think he lost it. No, I think take it to another network.
You're talking about Wilding Out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, well, he apologized, so I don't know how that's gonna go back.
That's a contract thing. I don't know who actually owns the show. So
Well, I know he said I read
No,
a
he
statement that he
created it.
made.
Yeah,
that
but
he
that's
said he
what-
lost
own
the
it.
rights. He lost the rights to it.
but Joe Budden
Yeah,
created
that-
Everyday Struggle, and we see what happened with that. Just because you created something don't mean you own it.
No,
That
that's what
really
I'm saying.
sucks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think he lost the rights to it, and he was like he was. I think MTV owns it. So
Woo!
That
Yeah,
really
so-
sucks.
So anyway, all right, let's get back into it. You in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's